I'd like to share with you today some of my favorite junipers I've got growing around the yard in our gardens. We'll be taking a look at some of the horizontal or carpet junipers, as well as some of the mid-sized junipers in that 18 inches to 3 to 4 foot range, and quite a few of the pyramidal. Look at that, we're coming up on the mother Lode juniper, a beautiful little yellow horizontal creeping juniper. We've got this growing on a mulch bed, and I just absolutely love it. If you're on a little bit of a contour, it'll start creeping up that field stone a little bit, but they're going to move out quickly. Junipers can self-layer in, creating a root on mulch or soil. So we're at that point now. We're going to have to go ahead, and we will have to start pruning this back just a little bit, intermingling with some of that sedum, another low-growing plant that does really well if you like to use field stone or different rock in your landscaping. This juniper also picks up kind of an interesting winter color, kind of a plum color, so just a fantastic carpet juniper. I also planted mother Lode juniper in these crevices in this flagstone patio deck. Look how it's coming in nicely over here, intermingling again with that sedum. We've got a beautiful lily there, but it's doing exactly what I'd hoped to do, just naturalizing itself. And here we're coming up on star power juniper. Put that in just a couple years ago. It's kind of a dry area, but this juniper will tolerate that. And most junipers like that full sun. Look at that, never been touched with a shear. It's got a really spiny, sharp type needle. A little bit of a waxy bloom being that kind of a bluish cast, but a nice foliage. I'm really enjoying this upright juniper selection. Star power. And we're coming up on Savin Juniper, intermixed here with this tiger eyes sumac, a nice vase-shaped juniper. You can prune that, but once you do, if you start shearing it, you're going to turn it into maybe some different kind of odd shapes, circles, squares. So to keep this nice vase-shaped form, all I do once a year, I go in and I'll prune out some of those longer leaders back to one of the laterals, and then we just maintain that natural form. Once you start doing tip cutting all the way around with that shears, that's when you'll get that lateral growth will start getting tighter and tighter. Then you're forced into something a little bit more formal. As we come around the corner here, we'll take a look at another upright, a Wichita blue. This is probably the bluest juniper in the upright form that we've got. Look at that, a little bit more loose and formal juniper, filling in there nicely. Haven't ever touched that with the shears. I think I'm just going to let it be its natural form, perhaps until it just gets a little bit too crowded in there. But very hardy, have never noticed any winter burn, holds that true color for us through the winter, that nice steel blue. If you like that tighter, more formal form, you can certainly prune these, late winter into early spring, let it flush out, and then you can give them even one more shearing if you like. We're going to leave this into its natural form. That's always my first choice when we're working with trees and shrubs. Until we overplant, then we have to get in there and do some of that pruning. We're working on a video on that about the dangers of overplanting in the garden. Boy, I'm guilty of that in a lot of cases since I just love collecting plants. And we'll drop back to another really nice horizontal or carpet juniper, the Icee blue juniper. Got a little bit of pruning in there to do to make sure we don't lose that fieldstone effect. Those creeping junipers or carpet junipers are just great for going over any kind of a mound or retaining wall. And here that Icee blue really starting to dominate and kind of just take over this bed, choking out some of that sedum. We've got some creeping thyme back here that's hanging in there. But look at the effect of that juniper on that pink quartz specimen rock. And another Icee blue juniper just kind of weaving through this wood chip bed next to a mugle pine there, a peony in the back. Look at that, going up that mound. Just a beautiful juniper with this blue contrast. And Medora Juniper, just a great juniper for our area, Great Northern Plains. That's that bigger bluish juniper selected out of North Dakota many, many years ago. I think back into the 1930s or 40s. So that selection has been around a long time. The Scopularum species. Got a couple other really nice Medora junipers that I planted pretty close together, and they're kind of maintaining a more narrow form. You can see them off in the distance there. Look at that. Just two beautiful Medora junipers. Before we go up there, let's quick take a look at this gold juniper. Look how it's intermingling in here with this Danica arborvitae. We've got that gray trap rock boulder. I'm just kind of letting it do its own thing here with that sedum. Yeah, just a neat little area, and that's kind of some of the things I do when I plant. I call it congestion planting. We'll kind of pack things a little tight, and then we kind of just see who wins out. But what a beautiful yellow-green foliage in there. Here again, you can shear Medoras, keep them a really nice, tight, formal shape. I like them just a little bit on the loose end. Kind of a bluish green, nice, sturdy, upright habit. Not as blue as that Wichita blue we took a look at, but a great proven variety that just continues to be a performer in our cold region. I've got 3 of these planted around the gardens, and this one's kind of taken on kind of that saguaro type look. When I first purchased it, it had kind of more of a pencil tight shape, so obviously they kept it sheared. And we're going to let this one just go naturally, but I've got another one I want to show you here that we're going to go ahead and we're going to actually prune that one, keep it very narrow. Yeah, we're going to keep this one pruned up nice and tight, and then we'll be able to compare the difference on that one we just took a look at with the arching branches. We'll keep this one in that pencil form, very, very tight. It won't take long at all each spring just to go ahead and prune that tip growth back. Yeah, there we go. That'll be enough for now. The Trautman Juniper. That'll thicken up as we prune it each spring. It's done great in our gardens. Trautman Juniper. Here's a green Columnar Juniper right next to us. I only grow that in a container, and I bought it in a manipulated form, the spiral. So we keep that pruned up every year, and then I have to overwinter it artificially. Calgary carpet juniper in that 12 to 18 inches high again, maybe just a touch more. One of my favorite junipers, and that's why it's called carpet juniper. Calgary carpet, just got that layering effect. This picks up a little bit of a bronzy winter color. We're letting it bob and weave in this area where we've got some flowers planted, the quickfire hydrangea, and here we've got one tucked in next to this emerald carousel barberry. It's kind of cascading off that field stone wall, so we have to keep that pruned up a little bit to keep that effect. What a beautiful, rich green color on that Calgary carpet. Never see burning on this. Just does fantastic year to year. And here's a Rocky Mountain juniper I came across on a hike in a nearby park. This is where a lot of the varieties come from. Some of these older trees, we get our improved breeding programs that make selections off trees like this. Look at that ripped bark. It's just something really interesting in the character. Just a beautiful, rich green foliage on the Arcadia Juniper, and just a great selection if you need something that only gets about that 12 to 18 inches tall. And the Taylor Juniper, one of my favorite upright junipers. Yeah, we featured this in a video, Unique Evergreens for Your Gardens, but that's just an awesome juniper. And that's one of the great things about columnar upright plants. If you've got small gardens, you can get quite a bit of more different interesting plants in there, and they just create such an accent, such a statement, those tall columnar plants. Taylor Juniper. And here we're next to the Prince of Wales Juniper, one of my all-time favorite creeping junipers. Just love this effect when we use fieldstone in the landscaping. I did a video a while back where we took a look at how to prune some of these different junipers. Go ahead and subscribe. You can take a look at our channel and find that video. I'll put a link in description as well. But the Prince of Wales Juniper, again, if you give it room to spread out on a mulch bed or soil, I mean, it can consume 10, 12, 18 feet. And eventually you do have to start pruning, and it's going to get to that edging area. But just a fantastic way to get a creeping ground cover in your landscape. And look at it, how it creeps up into that decorative rock, intermingling here with a prickly pear cactus. Yeah, a cactus that grows in zone 3. Just a beautiful mix, just one of my favorite areas in our gardens. Prince of Wales Juniper. And we'll work our way back to our starting point where we took a look at our mother lode juniper, that yellow creeping juniper. So the junipers, again, to sum it up, what a great group of plants, offering so many different shapes, sizes, colors. They love full sun. Some of them will tolerate a little bit of shade, but I'd go with sun wherever you can. Hardy as heck. They'll take those dry conditions. So it's just something you really got to have in your landscape, especially if you're in those northern ranges where you're a little bit limited on how much plants that you can grow. Thanks for watching Garden Hike. I hope you found a couple junipers that you can add to your gardens. We'll see you again next video.